Swami Premananda's translation of the Bhagavad Gita, which I'm sharing right here, it says that when we go beyond time and space, when we go beyond desire, when we go beyond attachment, when we go beyond the illusion of separateness, we're not compelled to return to this world. And I was smiling at that translation because many of the translations say something different. They say, you never have to come back here again, right? They say you're free from being born in this world again. And his phrasing is so pure. It says you will not be compelled to return. If you are not compelled to return, and you know it is of service for you to return, what would you choose? Hello, welcome you all. That's why we're all here. So I absolutely love his phrasing. And it's the equivalent of if I asked you on the way home from meditation today, could you please run a 5-minute errand because it will help my friend. My friend is in need of a hug. My friend is in need of a smile. My friend is in need of a kind, caring presence. 5 minutes? What do you say? And there's no pressure. There's no compulsion. Of course you would say yes. In the light of eternity, your whole human life, even if you live 112 years, is 5 minutes. And so allow yourself to truly have the perspective that from the perspective of that which is unchanging, this whole human life is like the snap of a finger. It's like the blink of a divine eye. It's like a 5-minute errand on the way home to be helpful and to be of service. So that's what we're doing here, just to be the energy of unconditional love. Good morning, welcome, 1,000 welcomes. We are meditating today on the topic absolute light. Over the recent weeks, we've been meditating on the light of hope, the light of peace, the light of joy, the light of love, the light of Christ, inviting those lights to become alive within ourselves. So in our own true nature, in our own pure heart, those lights are with us continually. The light of the divine is with us continually. Absolute light is with us continually. So we're inviting ourselves to turn within, to come into contact with the energy of our own heart, the energy of our own being, the energy of our own aliveness, and allow that absolute light to fill us to overflowing, and then to be born in time and space in entirely fresh, precious, noble, honorable, bright, beautiful, bold, tender ways. And so the teachings come from many different scriptures. We're always, when we tune into scriptures, inviting the teachings to come to life within ourselves. We're tuning into the universal core aspects of these teachings and asking, how may I live in such a way that this energy of truth and reality is more and more present in me, is more and more visible through me, right where I am, right in the midst of my daily life. So this is from Isaiah chapter 61. And see if you can connect with the absolute joy and delight that is being expressed in this teaching. I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God. For God has clothed me with garments of salvation and arrayed me in a robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom adorns his head like a priest, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. For as the soil makes the sprout come up, and a garden causes seeds to grow, so the sovereign Lord will make righteousness and praise spring up before all nations. And so allow yourself to wear a garment of praise. Allow yourself to be clothed in delight and in joy and in goodness and in beauty and in gladness, in what is most precious. Allow the energy of union to be visible in you. So the metaphor of the bride and the bridegroom, it's always about you merging with the divine. And then you will be able to be fully present in human relationships as well. So allowing your heart to turn within and merge with the divine. Allow yourself to fully union, to fully become one with the divine within yourself. And then what happens is this glorious energy of growth. As a garden causes seeds to grow, the goodness in you will spring forth. The praise will come forth, and it will be visible not only in you, not only in your relationships, but in the world. This energy of new growth, this energy of aliveness, this energy of praise and goodness and joy and gladness will come to life. A very similar teaching is offered in John chapter 1. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God. And so each of us, as we connect with the name of the divine, whether we usually greet the divine in the name of Jesus, by whatever name we call the divine, that is a direct connection to the source of righteousness, to the source of realizing that each of us comes forth into time and space as a beloved expression of radiance. Each of us is loved into this form, loved into this life. And so we're reconnecting with that truth, with that reality, and allowing that energy of unconditional love and light and the real to nourish us and strengthen us and nurture us. And then as we live that, truth and light and unconditional love and the real will be visible through us in time and space in unprecedented ways. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, shares a very similar teaching. So as we listen to this, I'm inviting us to tune into this realization that each of us is always connected with that which is imperishable. So that energy of the real, that energy of that which is unchanging. Lahiri said, I am with you in that which is unchanging, in what the Bhagavad Gita is talking about. So the teacher is always with you in that which is unchanging. And then when we realize that, the teacher is always with us in the midst of what is changing, in the midst of time and space. And so the Bhagavad Gita says, a human who is free from pride and egotism and the great bondage of attachment, who is ever devoted to the realization of the self, in whom the thirst for the sensory world has completely ceased, and who is liberated from the pairs of opposites, such as pleasure and pain. Such a human of wisdom attains to that eternal goal. That state of absolute perfection is not illumined by sun, nor moon, nor fire. The wise, having reached there, are not compelled to return. That is my supreme abode. The light that shines forth from the sun, which illumines the whole world, and that of the moon and the fire, know that light to be mine. Impermeating the earth with my vital energy, I support all beings, and becoming the life-sustaining sap, I nourish all plants and trees. The steadfast yogis, striving for perfection, realize the indwelling self within, but those of impure heart and without self-enlightenment perceive it not. I reside in the hearts of all. So any one of these passages we could meditate on for the rest of, I was going to say the year. The year has a short duration, but we could meditate through the next calendar year and not be done with it. I'll share a few comments which just make me smile.
Welcome. My name is Dhruv. I have the honor of serving as a community teacher here at Awake Yoga Meditation. We believe it is possible to live in joy and freedom every day. If you like the content you are about to watch, please like, share, subscribe down below. Thank you and enjoy.
Swami Premananda's translation of the Bhagavad Gita, which I'm sharing right here, it says that when we go beyond time and space, when we go beyond desire, when we go beyond attachment, when we go beyond the illusion of separateness, we're not compelled to return to this world. And I was smiling at that translation because many of the translations say something different. They say, you never have to come back here again, right? They say you're free from being born in this world again. And his phrasing is so pure. It says you will not be compelled to return. If you are not compelled to return, and you know it is of service for you to return, what would you choose? Hello, welcome you all. That's why we're all here. So I absolutely love his phrasing. And it's the equivalent of if I asked you on the way home from meditation today, could you please run a 5-minute errand because it will help my friend. My friend is in need of a hug. My friend is in need of a smile. My friend is in need of a kind, caring presence. 5 minutes? What do you say? And there's no pressure. There's no compulsion. Of course you would say yes. In the light of eternity, your whole human life, even if you live 112 years, is 5 minutes. And so allow yourself to truly have the perspective that from the perspective of that which is unchanging, this whole human life is like the snap of a finger. It's like the blink of a divine eye. It's like a 5-minute errand on the way home to be helpful and to be of service. So that's what we're doing here, just to be the energy of unconditional love. And then when we have that awareness, so that's the first part of the passage from the Gita that I read, then when we have that awareness, then we see the sun. It's also the divine in the form of the sun. The moon, the fire, it's also the divine in the form of the moon and the fire. All that we experience in time and space, it's also the divine in the form of all that we experience in time and space. So Swami Nityananda says, God is now. God realization is now. The quickest way to experience that is to connect with the source of joy, peace, and harmony. Shift your attention, shift your energy, shift your vibration. If you notice that you're not feeling joy, peace, and harmony, notice. Take a step back and say, I notice I'm feeling cranky, if that's what you're feeling. I'm feeling strained, if that's what you're feeling. I'm feeling concerned. Whatever it is that you're feeling, notice and say, I offer that to the divine. I choose to shift. I choose to uplift. I choose to allow myself to raise my vibration, to raise my frequency. Okay, so I'm going to share a couple of metaphors. I came across a couple of videos yesterday that made me smile. One was a video of a subway station in another country, and there was an escalator rising up out of this subway station into the light, and there was a stairway rising up into the light from this subway station. And at first, you sort of saw this video, and everyone was taking the escalator. And then the question arose, what if we made the stairs more fun when more people take the stairs? And so they made the stairs into an actual piano keyboard. Not just one that was painted to look like a keyboard, but one that sounded as people walked up the stairs. And so then you sort of notice there's this great flood of people that are walking up the stairs playing the piano keyboard as they're walking up the stairs. And the little statistic that they gave said that I think 66% more people took the stairs after they made the stairs more fun to walk. And so you can kind of think of this as every one of us is choosing, how am I going to shift? How am I going to uplift my consciousness? Am I taking the escalator? Am I taking the stairs? Let there be no judgment about it. I know sometimes it feels like you're taking an escalator. It feels like there's a lot of smooth forward movement. There's a lot of joy. There's a lot of harmony. Sometimes it feels like you're trudging up the stairs, and the stairs don't always feel like they're making music as you're trudging up the stairs. So whichever way it is, allow there to be not judgment, and know that the divine is present every single moment. When you're on the escalator, the divine is fully present. When you're on the stairs, the divine is fully present. And so just notice, how has it been feeling? Have I been focused? Have I been present? Have I been dedicated to allowing myself to shift back to connect with that source of joy, peace, and harmony? And so this is a presence and a practice that is fully available to each of us, always. No matter what we're experiencing inwardly or outwardly, each of us has that ability to shift. I choose to shift, I choose to uplift, I choose to come back into contact with that source of joy, peace, and harmony. Okay, the next video that I saw was a video of 3 different birds flying in an indoor space. And the video was captioned that owls fly in complete silence. So the first bird did not fly in complete silence. It was not an owl, and it was sort of chirping and squawking, and you could hear its wings fluttering, and it made a lot of noise as it was flying across this indoor space. The second bird didn't chirp and squawk, but you could hear its wings flying and making a lot of noise. And then the third bird was the owl, completely still, completely quiet. And so this actually correlates with what the Bhagavad Gita describes as the energy patterns that are present within each of us. So there are tamasic energy patterns. That would be the noise and the squawking and the fluttering and the flapping. And then when we transform that energy, it becomes rajasic, and that would be just the fluttering. And then when we transform that energy, it becomes peaceful. It becomes harmonious, it becomes sweet. And that would be the energy of the owl gliding quietly. And so to just have awareness, what the Bhagavad Gita says is if we are here in a human body, the potential for all of those energy is here in the human body. So have awareness, how am I in relation to my energy patterns? Am I squawking and flapping and making a lot of noise in relation to my energy patterns? Am I somewhere in the middle where I might not be squawking, but I might still be flapping and making noise that way? Or am I allowing myself to be that pure, peaceful, quiet, completely still owl, not making any noise at all? And so what the Bhagavad Gita tells us as well is that with practice and with dispassion, it's possible to transform our own energy patterns. So awareness is required, and then also willingness to transform, willingness to let go of the old. So I'm going to come back to a meditation that I shared at the start, and this is just an invitation for all of us to come into contact in ourselves with what is most precious and beautiful and pure. So I invited people, if they like, to meditate on the heart pendant, which it is my joy and honor to wear. I mentioned that Swami Nityananda before me wore this heart pendant. And the heart pendant itself was created by a karma yogi who took old items of jewelry she wasn't wearing anymore, and she donated them. And then they were melted down and they became this heart pendant. And so this is a beautiful metaphor for transformation. So each of us has the energy of the old. And so for ourselves to have awareness, someone not in the meditation community said to me this week, I become aware I'm holding on to the past in ways that are not helpful for me. So just to ask yourself, am I holding on to the past in ways that are not helpful for me? May I allow myself to become aware? You keep the wisdom. You always keep the wisdom. You keep the love. You always keep the love. You always keep the respect. Always. What you let go of is the compulsion in relation to the past. You let go of the compulsion. You let go of the pain. And so, am I allowing myself to keep what is pure and bright and noble and precious and honorable from the past and offer it to the divine for transformation? The other thing I think it's important to acknowledge is that transformation involves heat. So it really does. The same way that those necklaces had to be melted down in order to become this beautiful heart, there is a process of heat. The yogis call this tapas. It involves fire spiritually. And so to just know that if you are dedicated to the practice of self-purification, purifying your heart so that you may see the divine everywhere always, purifying your mind so that your mind is completely calm and clear and still always, Even as you're using your mind as an instrument to be of service, it is possible for the mind to be as quiet and silent and still as that owl. Even while that owl is flying, it is quiet, silent, and still. So there's, for most humans, a process of self-pacing and self-transformation so that the heat is moderated, so that what you're doing is creating a stable energy platform for your body. You're creating a stable energy platform for your human self, for your human emotional heart, for your human mind. And it is the practice of a lifetime. It is not a drive-through stop. It is the practice of a lifetime to dedicate yourself to this realization. And then once you realize the divine, what happens then? You get to be of service. And so service is here before the process of self-transformation begins. It is here. It allows the process of self-transformation to unfold joyfully, gracefully, with as much fun as we can possibly have along the way. And then at the conclusion of absolute realization, when you are in contact with that which is unchanging continually, always, when you know absolute light is here continually, always, what happens then is you are free to be fully of service. And so that is all that any of us is ever asked to do, is to keep choosing to be free, to be fully present, to be fully of service, to be fully aware and fully joyful and willing to let go of the old, to keep the wisdom, to keep the love, to claim in joy and confidence and strength that which is bright and honorable and pure and noble and precious, to offer that to the divine, and to know that something entirely new emerges for ourselves, also collectively, and for the world. Every time we choose to uplift, every time we choose to shift, every time we choose to open our heart to that energy of unconditional love, absolute light is able to be more steady, more established, and more visible in us. Thank God, and God bless us all.